What if everything you see, touch, and feel isn't real in the way you think? What if matter, the solid ground beneath your feet, the stars above your head, even your own body, is not the ultimate reality but a projection? For centuries, mystics have whispered that the material world is an illusion, a veil over a deeper truth. But now, some of the most advanced theories in physics are starting to say the same thing. From the strange mathematics of the holographic principle to the baffling behavior of subatomic particles in quantum experiments, a shocking possibility is emerging. We might be living inside a hologram, not like the flickering illusions in science fiction, but a universe where every particle, every galaxy, every thought is encoded on a distant boundary, and what we call reality is just the three-dimensional shadow of a deeper, hidden order. This is not a theory for the faint of heart. It means space and time may not be fundamental. It means that distance might be an illusion. And it means you, the self you think you are, could be more like a pattern in a cosmic program than an object in space. In this journey, we'll explore the science, the philosophy, and the dizzying implications of the holographic universe. If you're ready to step beyond the surface, let's begin. Chapter 1. The birth of a dangerous idea. Imagine standing at the edge of a black hole. You can't step back. Gravity is too strong. The pull is absolute. Anything, a star, a planet, even light itself, that crosses that invisible boundary called the event horizon is gone forever, or is it? In the 1970s, physicist Stephen Hawking shocked the world by showing that black holes aren't completely black. They emit faint radiation, now called Hawking radiation, and over time they can evaporate, but there was a problem. If a black hole truly disappears, what happens to the information about everything it swallowed? According to the laws of quantum mechanics, information can never be destroyed. Burn a book and the words vanish to your eyes, but in theory, the information about every letter is still embedded in the ash, smoke, and heat. Black holes, however, seem to break that rule. If they evaporated without leaving a trace, information would be erased from the universe forever. This became known as the black hole information paradox, a problem so deep it shook physics to its core. Enter Leonard Susskind, a physicist who wasn't willing to let quantum mechanics be broken. In the 1990s, building on work by Gerard T. Hooft, Susskind proposed something radical. Maybe the information isn't lost inside the black hole at all. Maybe it's stored on the event horizon itself, like a cosmic hard drive. In this view, the three-dimensional world inside is an illusion. The true record of everything is written into dimensions on the surface. This was the first seed of the holographic principle, the idea that our entire universe could work the same way. That what we experience as 3D space might be a projection from a deeper two-dimensional reality. Chapter 2. Quantum clues that reality isn't solid. We grow up believing the world is made of things, solid, tangible matter we can see, touch, and measure. The chair you're sitting on, the screen you're looking at, your own body, they all seem undeniably real. But in the quantum realm, where the smallest building blocks of the universe reside, reality begins to shimmer like a mirage. Physicists once imagined atoms as tiny solar systems, electrons orbiting a central nucleus like planets around the sun. It was a comforting image, neat and mechanical. But quantum mechanics shattered that picture. At the smallest scales, particles don't have definite positions until they're observed. Electrons exist as probability clouds, mathematical wave functions describing where they might be, not where they are. The very act of measurement collapses these possibilities into one outcome. It gets stranger. The famous double-slit experiment revealed that particles like electrons, and even photons of light, behave like waves when unobserved, interfering with themselves as if they pass through both slits at once. But the moment you watch them, they choose one slit and act like solid particles. Observation changes reality. And then there's quantum entanglement, what Einstein dismissively called spooky action at a distance. Two particles become linked so completely that a change in one instantly affects the other, no matter how far apart they are. Space and time seem powerless to separate them. These phenomena suggest that space, time, and matter might not be the ultimate hardware of the universe. Instead, they might emerge from something deeper, a hidden layer of reality that behaves more like information than stuff. When Susskind's holographic principle met quantum theory, the implications became almost unsettling. If the universe is fundamentally made of information, then matter, the solidity of the world, is not what it appears to be. It's not the bricks of reality, it's the illusion the information creates. And illusions, no matter how convincing, can be decoded. Chapter 3. The universe as a cosmic projection. Imagine standing inside a planetarium. Around you, stars whirl across the dark dome, planets drift, galaxies swirl. You know they're not really there, they're just light projected from a small machine hidden in the center of the room. The images are convincing, almost breathtaking. But they are flat, a 2D illusion painted onto a curved surface. Now imagine that our own universe works the same way, not in a theater but on the vastest stage imaginable. In the 1990s, physicist Gerard T. Hooft and later Leonard Susskind took an idea born from black hole physics and expanded it into something radical, the holographic principle. Here's the unsettling part. It suggests that all the information needed to describe everything in our 3D universe might actually be encoded on a distant 2D surface, a kind of cosmic boundary. Just as a hologram stores a three-dimensional image inside a flat film, the cosmos may store the code of our reality on this far-off horizon. Everything you see, touch, feel, every atom, every star, every memory could be the 3D expression of data inscribed elsewhere. Black holes gave us the first hint. When matter falls into a black hole, it seems to vanish forever. But Stephen Hawking and Jacob Bekenstein found something strange. The information about that matter isn't stored inside the hole's volume, but on its surface, its event horizon. In other words, the content of a black hole is written on its skin. If that's true for black holes, why not for the entire universe? Under this view, reality isn't inside space the way we think. Space itself, and time and matter, could be a projection arising from deeper laws we haven't yet fully grasped. The true universe may be like the film reel, and we're living inside the movie it plays. It's not saying we're in the Matrix, it's stranger than that. This isn't a simulation run by aliens or computers. It's nature itself, weaving spacetime out of pure informational threads. And if this is right, the real universe, the one holding the code, may exist beyond our space and time entirely. Chapter for cracks in the projection, clues we might live in a hologram. If the holographic principle is true, it's not just a poetic metaphor. It should leave fingerprints in the very structure of the universe. And over the last few decades, physicists have been looking for those fingerprints with increasing precision. One possible clue hides in the cosmic microwave background CMB, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang still echoing across the sky. This ancient radiation is like a snapshot of the universe when it was just 380,000 years old. Some researchers have noticed that certain patterns in the CMB's fluctuations don't quite match predictions from standard 3D cosmology. Instead, they seem to fit better with a universe whose physics originates from a lower-dimensional source. It's as if the projection isn't perfectly smooth, the pixels of the hologram are just faintly visible. Then there's the holometer experiment at Fermilab, led by Craig Hogan. It tries to detect what he calls holographic noise, microscopic jitter in spacetime itself, as if reality is made of discrete informational grains. The idea is that, just like a digital image becomes blocky when you zoom in far enough, our universe might reveal a grainy texture at the Planck scale, the smallest meaningful length in physics. And there's another strange hint. The mathematics of certain quantum theories in lower dimensions seem to match perfectly with gravitational theories in higher dimensions. This is known as the ADS-CFT correspondence, discovered by Juan Maldacena in 1997. While it's a highly technical concept, its implication is staggering. The laws of a flat universe with no gravity can fully describe a curved universe with gravity. It's as if one is the master code and the other is its rendered display. But the most unsettling clue may be philosophical. If space and time themselves are emergent, not fundamental, then what we think of as here and now are just relationships between bits of information. Matter, energy, location, all might be shadows cast by something more real but forever beyond our direct perception. These are not proofs, they are cracks in the wall of our current understanding, slivers of light from an unseen reality. And if these cracks widen, the question becomes not just whether we live in a hologram, but why such a hologram exists at all. Chapter 5: Information, the Hidden Architecture of the Universe. If you strip away the colors, shapes, and textures of the world, what's left? The instinctive answer might be atoms or energy, but modern physics suggests something stranger. Underneath the particles, beneath even the quantum fields, there is something more fundamental: information. The universe as code. Imagine walking through a forest. You see trees, hear leaves rustle, feel the ground beneath your feet. It all feels tangible, solid. But at the most basic level, every vibration of air, every photon of light, every sensation in your brain can be described as patterns that can be represented in numbers, bits, and symbols. This is not metaphor. In the 1970s, physicist John Archibald Wheeler coined the phrase "it from bit," the idea that physical reality ultimately arises from binary information bit. Reality, in this view, is like a vast computation where what we call matter is just the output of an unimaginably complex program. Black holes and the paradox of lost information. For decades, scientists believed that anything falling into a black hole, matter, light, even the pattern of particles, would be erased from existence. But quantum theory insisted this couldn't be true. Information cannot be destroyed. This became the infamous black hole information paradox. The breakthrough came with the holographic principle, the idea that all the information about what falls into a black hole is somehow stored on its surface, like data etched on a cosmic hard drive. This principle shook physics because if it's true for black holes, it might be true for the entire universe. Reality as a projection. In a hologram, three-dimensional images are created from two-dimensional patterns. The holographic principle suggests our universe might work similarly. The 3D world we experience could be a projection of information encoded on a distant cosmic boundary. In this model, space, time, and matter are not things in themselves, they are emergent phenomena. The way a high-resolution video emerges from millions of pixels, the pixels here are bits of information. Matter is frozen information. If information is the fundamental substrate, matter is simply information locked into stable arrangements. An iron atom and a carbon atom differ not in some mystical essence, but in their informational structure, the specific arrangement of protons, neutrons, electrons, and quantum states. This means that solidity is an illusion. The table in front of you is mostly empty space, its apparent hardness a product of electromagnetic interactions. And those interactions, in turn, are patterns in the grand informational network. Consciousness in an informational universe. Here's where the philosophical implications deepen. If reality is information, and our brains are processing information, then consciousness itself might be a fundamental part of the system, not an accidental byproduct. Some theorists propose that consciousness is the decoder of the hologram, interpreting raw information into the vivid reality we experience. Without consciousness, the information might still exist, but it would have no meaning. This flips our perspective. Instead of consciousness arising from matter, matter arises from consciousness interpreting information. Analogy: the cosmic movie. Think of the universe as a movie. On the screen, you see characters, landscapes, and action, but beneath it all, there is no real 3D world. It's just like patterns projected from a real or digital file. The story feels real because your mind stitches the frames together. Now replace the film reel with the informational fabric of the universe and replace the projector with the laws of physics. What you experience as reality may be nothing more than the unfolding of encoded information experienced through the filter of your mind. The limits of perception, if our senses can only interpret a limited range of information, a narrow band of light frequencies, a fraction of sound vibrations, then what we call the real world is just a tiny slice of the informational whole. There may be layers of reality beyond our perception, hidden in patterns our biology can't decode. This opens a profound question: if the universe is an informational system, can we ever know all of it? Or are we like characters in a video game, forever limited by the resolution and rules built into our world? Why this matters: seeing reality as information changes everything. It means the solidity of matter, the flow of time, the very boundaries of space are not ultimate truths, they are emergent appearances. It also means the separation between self and universe might be illusory because both are part of the same informational field. Perhaps this is why ancient mystics spoke of reality as illusion, not to say nothing exists, but to hint that what exists is not what it seems. The yogis, Buddhists, and philosophers who called the world Maya may have been pointing to the same insight physics is only now uncovering. Looking ahead, in the next chapter, we'll push further. If reality is information, who or what is processing it? Is there a universal mind that dreams this hologram into existence, or is the computation self-generating? And could our own minds be fragments of that larger intelligence? Chapter 6, The Cosmic Mind. Is the universe self-aware? If reality is, at its core, information, the next question naturally emerges. Who, or what, is processing that information? Information alone is not experience, it's patterns, potential. Without something to read, interpret, or give meaning to it, it's like an unopened book. All the words are there, but the story remains untold. This leads to one of the most daring ideas in both philosophy and physics: the universe might be conscious. Consciousness beyond the brain. We tend to think of consciousness as something that happens inside our heads, a side effect of neurons firing in complex patterns. But if consciousness is tied to information processing, and information is woven into the fabric of the universe, why limit awareness to biological brains? What if our individual minds are like small eddies in a vast ocean of universal awareness? We are localized expressions of something far larger. In this model, just as a single wave is part of the entire sea, each human mind is part of a greater cosmic mind that permeates reality. Hints from quantum physics. Quantum theory has long revealed a strange link between observation and reality. Experiments like the double-slit test show that particles behave differently when observed, suggesting that the act of measurement, of awareness, plays a role in how reality unfolds. This doesn't prove the universe is conscious, but it points to a fundamental interplay between perception and existence. Some physicists go further. The participatory anthropic principle, proposed by John Wheeler, suggests that observers are necessary to bring the universe into being in its current form. In a sense, the cosmos is a kind of feedback loop. Consciousness arises within the universe and, in turn, shapes it. Ancient echoes. This is not a new idea. The Upanishads of India declared thousands of years ago, Atman is Brahman, the self is the universal consciousness. In Taoist philosophy, all forms are expressions of the Tao, an underlying intelligence that flows through all things. In Western mysticism, thinkers like Spinoza saw God and nature as one, an infinite mind expressing itself in infinite ways. Across cultures, the same thread appears. Reality is not dead matter, but living mind. The universe dreaming itself. Imagine for a moment that everything you see, hear, and feel is part of a vast dream, not yours alone, but one shared by all beings. In this dream, the mountains, the galaxies, the quantum fields, and your own thoughts are all patterns in the same mental landscape. If the universe is a dreamer, then we are characters inside its dream, and yet, paradoxically, we are also fragments of the dreamer itself. This concept erases the sharp line between self and world. You are not in the universe. You are the universe, experiencing itself from one particular vantage point. Is there evidence? The idea of a conscious universe is still speculative, but some intriguing lines of evidence exist. The mathematical elegance of nature, the laws of physics are not chaotic. They're stunningly ordered, as if written with intention. Fine-tuning of the universe, physical constants are balanced with precision that allows life to emerge, leading some to suspect purposeful design. Emergent complexity. From simple physical laws, complexity unfolds, atoms to molecules, molecules to cells, cells to minds. This self-organizing tendency seems to mirror the growth of thought itself. The role of the human mind. If we are part of a cosmic mind, then our thoughts, dreams, and insights are not isolated phenomena, they are the universe reflecting on itself. When you contemplate the stars are, in a sense, contemplating themselves through you. This is both humbling and empowering. It means creativity, science, and even simple acts of kindness are not separate from the grand unfolding, they are the unfolding. Consciousness as the primary reality. One radical interpretation, known as idealism, claims that consciousness is not a byproduct of matter at all. Instead, matter is what consciousness looks like from the outside. The physical is simply the shared, stable part of the dream. In this view, the Big Bang wasn't the beginning of everything. It was just one event in the ongoing self-expression of consciousness. Why this matters? If the universe is conscious, our lives gain a profound layer of meaning. We are not accidental sparks in a meaningless void. We are participants in a vast, living reality that is aware of itself. This perspective shifts how we treat the planet, other beings, and ourselves. Every interaction becomes part of the dialogue of the universe with itself. Looking ahead, in the next chapter we will push the idea further. If the universe is self-aware, could it have intent? Is there a purpose behind its unfolding, or is it an open-ended exploration? And what role might humanity play in that cosmic purpose? Chapter 7. The Purpose of the Hologram. If the universe is a kind of vast hologram, a projection of deeper information, and perhaps even a conscious mind, the next question strikes at the heart of human curiosity. Why? Why would a cosmic mind create such an intricate, detailed, and often painful reality? Why does the hologram exist at all? The difference between how and why, science excels at answering the how. How galaxies form, how stars burn, how neurons fire. But the why belongs to a different realm, the domain of philosophy, spirituality, and speculative cosmology. If the universe is a hologram, then the why might not be about mechanical cause and effect, it could be about meaning. Possibility 1. A mirror for self-knowledge. One of the oldest ideas in mystical traditions is that reality exists so the universe, or God, or the source, can know itself. A hologram is a perfect metaphor here. Each part contains the whole, but from a different perspective. You and I, as fragments of the whole, experience life in unique ways. Every joy, every sorrow, every choice adds a new angle to the cosmic self-portrait. From this view, the purpose of the hologram is experience. Not necessarily pleasure, not necessarily suffering, but raw, unfiltered experience that expands the awareness of the whole. Possibility 2. A school for consciousness. Another vision casts reality as a training ground, a place where consciousness matures. If the hologram is designed with rules, physics, challenges, survival, relationships, and opportunities for growth, love, creativity, moral choice, then perhaps we are here to learn. But learn what? It could be as simple and as profound as learning to remember who we are, even in the midst of forgetting. Under this lens, life's difficulties are not flaws in the system, but features, catalysts that push us to evolve. Possibility 3. A creative playground. If the universe is a conscious hologram, it may exist simply because it can. Creativity is an inherent quality of consciousness. We write books, paint, compose music, and build worlds in video games not because we have to, but because the act of creation is joy itself. On a cosmic scale, the hologram could be the ultimate art form, a boundless canvas where the brush strokes are galaxies, the colors are nebulae, and the themes are written in the lives of every being. Possibility 4. The simulation hypothesis. In modern thought, some take the hologram idea literally. Perhaps we live in an advanced simulation created by another intelligence. If so, the purpose might range from entertainment to research to something beyond our comprehension. While this view sounds cold or mechanical to some, it still aligns with an ancient intuition that the visible world is not the deepest reality. Whether crafted by alien scientists, future humans, or a timeless mind, the simulation still raises the same ultimate question: why was it programmed this way? Shared themes across theories, though these possibilities seem different, they share common threads. Interconnectedness, every part affects the whole. Experiential value, the hologram is rich with diverse perspectives. Growth or exploration, consciousness expands through the journey. This suggests that even if the details of the purpose differ, the underlying reason may be about the unfolding and deepening of awareness. Your role in the hologram, if reality is purposeful, then your life, right now, is not an accident. You are a node in the cosmic network, a pixel in the hologram, carrying a piece of the total picture. Your experiences, your struggles, your insights, they ripple outward into the larger mind. This means the smallest act of kindness, the tiniest shift in perception, can subtly reprogram the whole system. Does the purpose matter if it's not true? Skeptics might ask, what if this is all just poetic thinking? What if the universe is holographic but meaningless? Even then, purpose can be something we create. The meaning might not be handed down from on high. It might be generated by our choices, relationships, and acts of creation. In a way, that's even more empowering. If the hologram is empty of predetermined purpose, then every moment is an opportunity to paint your own design on the canvas. The danger of over-identification, one caution: if the hologram is designed to help us grow, one of its most effective teaching tools is illusion. It's easy to get lost in the projection, to believe the hologram is all there is, to cling to the fleeting patterns as if they were permanent. When we over-identify with the dream, we forget we are dreamers. That's when fear, greed, and conflict intensify. The purpose, then, might not just be to play in the hologram, but to wake up inside it. Looking ahead, if the universe is a conscious hologram with a purpose, the next natural question is, how does it end? Does the hologram keep running forever, endlessly creating new variations of experience? Or is there a moment when the projection stops, the light turns off, and the source reabsorbs all perspectives back into itself? In the next chapter, we'll explore the idea of the end of the projection, the theories, myths, and scientific speculations about how reality might conclude, and what could follow. Chapter 8: The End of the Projection. If the universe is a hologram, a projection of deeper reality, then what happens when the projector stops? Does the cosmic movie fade to black, or does something even stranger occur? For thousands of years, myths, philosophies, and scientific models have all tried to imagine the end of the show. The scientific endings, modern cosmology gives us a few possible endings, and each is as surreal as any spiritual myth. The Big Freeze: the universe keeps expanding until galaxies drift so far apart that stars burn out and all energy is evenly spread. No heat, no light, no life, just stillness. The Big Crunch: Gravity eventually overpowers expansion, pulling everything back into a single, unimaginably dense point, perhaps to explode again in another Big Bang. The Big Rip, dark energy accelerates expansion until even atoms are torn apart and spacetime itself unravels. From the holographic perspective, each of these isn't just physics, it's the shutdown sequence of the simulation the moment the data stream stops. The spiritual endings, religions, and mystical traditions imagine very different conclusions. Hinduism speaks of cycles of creation and dissolution, universes manifest, dissolve back into Brahman, and arise again. The projection turns off, but only briefly, before the next dream begins. Buddhism envisions liberation from samsara, the end of rebirth and illusion. In this view, the hologram ends not for everyone at once, but individually when one awakens. Christian and Islamic eschatology often speak of a final judgment, a decisive moment when the current world ends and a new, perfected reality takes its place. In all of these, the end is not just destruction, it's transition. The unplugging theory, some philosophers speculate that if reality is a holographic simulation, the end could come when the operator turns it off. Maybe the reason would be boredom. Maybe it would be completion of an experiment. Or maybe the purpose of the hologram has been fulfilled, every possible scenario played out, every lesson learned. If so, the final moment might be instantaneous. 1 second you're here, the next pure nothingness. Or perhaps awakening somewhere else entirely, like stepping out of a theater into bright daylight, realizing the movie was never the whole of life. The conscious collapse. Another possibility is that the hologram ends when enough participants realize it is a hologram. Imagine the projection running only because the audience believes in it. As more beings awaken to their deeper nature, the illusion loses coherence. Objects dissolve, time unravels, and the light bends back to its source. In this version, the end of the universe wouldn't feel like a disaster, it would feel like coming home. Is the end bad or good? Whether the end is terrifying or beautiful depends entirely on your perspective. From inside the hologram, the end feels like death, the loss of everything familiar. From the perspective of the source, it is reunion, the dissolving of separation, the return of all fragments to the whole. It's the drop of water returning to the ocean. No loss, only fullness. Signs of the final act. If the hologram has a narrative, could we tell when we're in the final chapter? Some ancient cultures believed so. They spoke of increasing chaos, the collapse of old systems, strange signs in the sky. Others saw the end as a quiet fading, unnoticed until the very last instant. In modern times, some speculate that the accelerating change we see in technology, climate, even human consciousness could be signs of a system approaching its limit. The hologram might be running hotter, faster before it burns out. Does it really end? The most radical possibility is that the hologram never truly ends, it simply shifts into another form. A dream dissolves, but the dreamer remains. One reality fades, but another takes its place. In this way, the end is more like a scene change than a total erasure. In fact, the very concept of end may be just another illusion. Time itself is part of the hologram, so outside it, there is no before or after. No start, no finish, only the eternal now. Living with the end in mind. Thinking about the end of the projection can be unsettling, but it can also be clarifying. If you knew this hologram was temporary, if you knew the set, the props, the costumes would all be packed away someday, what would matter most to you? Would you spend more time chasing holographic gold? Or more time creating moments of beauty and connection? Would you play the game more fiercely or more gently? Knowing the projection ends can free us from the need to grip it so tightly. It can inspire us to live more deliberately, not as if the world will last forever, but as if every moment counts. The final scene, whether the end comes with a bang, a fade out, or a gentle dissolving, one truth echoes through science, myth, and philosophy. What we truly are may outlast the hologram. If we are the source dreaming itself into form, then the end is not a tragedy. It is the waking from a long, vivid dream. And perhaps when that day comes, we will open our eyes and smile, ready to dream again. Chapter 9: Beyond the Hologram. What lies outside? If reality is a hologram, a projection woven from information, perception, and consciousness, then we face a question even stranger than the hologram itself. What lies beyond it? Imagine a movie theater where you've been sitting your entire life. You've laughed, cried, and feared for the characters on the screen. And then, one day, you notice the faint shimmer of the projector beam slicing through the darkness. For the first time, you realize this was never the whole room. There's something more, an unseen space from which the images are born. In the holographic model of reality, the universe we see is a kind of cosmic screen, a two-dimensional informational surface that encodes the three-dimensional world we experience. The stars above, the ground beneath your feet, your own body, all of it is the movie, not the projector. And so the mind turns toward the unfathomable. What is the projector? Some physicists imagine that outside our holographic universe is a deeper realm of quantum information, pure patterns without mass or shape, existing in dimensions we cannot touch. Here, reality is not built from particles, but from bits, the pixels of existence, far smaller than any atom. Mystics, on the other hand, speak of it as the source, the ground of being from which all forms arise. In this view, the hologram is not a trick meant to deceive us, but a teaching tool, a dream the cosmos dreams to learn more about itself. To step beyond it is not to step into another room, but to awaken into a consciousness so vast that the distinction between self and universe dissolves. And yet, we face a paradox. If we are inside the hologram, how can we perceive what lies outside? A flat character in a comic strip cannot turn the page to see the author's hand. We may be able to infer the beyond only through distortions, glitches in the projection, moments where the fabric of the illusion quivers. Some seekers find these glitches in altered states, meditation so deep that the self vanishes, near-death experiences where the tunnel of light opens onto a love beyond words. Or even spontaneous awakenings where everyday objects seem hyperreal, as if we're catching them before the mind flattens them into the hologram. Others search for them in physics, the slight anomalies in cosmic background radiation, or the strange math of black holes, which seem to store information on their event horizons like the edge of a universal disk. Some even wonder if déjà vu is not memory, but a momentary awareness of the code behind the scene. But here's the most haunting possibility. Maybe outside the hologram is not somewhere else, but right here, hidden in plain sight. If reality is a projection, then the source is not beyond the image, it is the image. The entire picture is made of its light. In that sense, the only barrier between us and the truth is the assumption that there is a barrier at all. If so, escaping the hologram is less about breaking through than about seeing through. Just as you can still enjoy the magic of a film while knowing it's a projection, you can live within this dream while knowing it's a dream, and that you are both the dreamer and the dreamed. And perhaps the final twist is this: if the universe is dreaming itself, then you, right now, reading these words, are the part of the dream that has become self-aware. You are the point where the hologram turns its gaze upon itself. The question is not just what lies outside, but what you will do with the knowledge that the outside has always been inside you.